In just 3 days, an empire that had withstood the sands of time for half a millennium would be swept away like dust upon the wind. The years of prosperity and power, once thought eternal, faced annihilation under the relentless advance of the Mongol storm. Here begins the saga of the Khwarazmian Empire, standing on the precipice of its own oblivion as the fearsome specter of Genghis Khan's forces loomed ever closer. From the steppes of Asia, a ferocious empire had risen, helmed by the indomitable Genghis Khan. His banner unfurled across the heavens, casting a shadow over the lands below. The Mongol Empire, united under his iron will, sought to expand its dominion, and the rich and storied Khwarazmian Empire lay directly in its path. The Khwarazmian ruler Ala ad-Din Muhammad, once confident in the grandeur of his empire, now felt the creeping tendrils of dread. His lands, echoing with centuries of culture and achievement, stood vulnerable, with towns bustling under the complacent sun. Yet the Mongols were more than mere horsemen. They were a tempest unleashed. Their initial incursions into Khwarazmian territory were swift and brutal, leaving behind scorched earth and echoes of terror. The winds of change blew with force, whispering of a future marred by devastation and loss. As the Mongol horde approached, anticipation mingled with fear, creating a heavy pall that hung over the Khwarazmian realm. The empire's fate teetered on the knife's edge, waiting for the inevitable storm to break. And so, the world held its breath, sensing the cataclysm that would reshape history forevermore. Beneath the vast Mongolian sky, Genghis Khan orchestrated his forces, a maestro conducting a symphony of war. Assembling a colossal and disciplined army, he readied them for the conquest of the Khwarazmian Empire, weaving strategy with the finesse of an artisan. Genghis Khan's mind was a crucible of tactical brilliance, forged in countless battles. He understood the terrain and exploited every weakness, turning the vastness of Central Asia into a weapon in itself. His generals, hand-picked for their guile and loyalty, were the instruments of his vision, each move calculated with precision. The Mongol military was a terrifying machine, its cogs and wheels meshing seamlessly. Cavalry archers rode with unmatched agility, their arrows darkening the skies like a flock of death-dealing ravens. Siege engineers crafted engines of destruction, capable of breaching the mightiest fortifications. The Khwarazmians, aware of the impending onslaught, fortified their cities, hoping to withstand the inevitable. Yet the Mongols were relentless, their momentum unstoppable. Genghis Khan, perceiving all potential paths and outcomes, charted a course for domination, his ambition unyielding. As the Mongol horde advanced, a nervous tension pervaded the air, the calm before a storm of epic proportions. It was a moment suspended in time, as empires clashed and destinies were rewritten. The Khwarazmian Empire stood at the brink, its survival hanging by the thinnest of threads, as the storm gathered strength and prepared to engulf all in its path. In the year 1220, under the oppressive gaze of an autumnal sky, the city of Nishapur faced its darkest hour. Once a bastion of culture and commerce, the city now stood on the precipice of oblivion, caught in the vise of Mongol ambition. The siege began with a dreadful inevitability, the Mongol forces encircling Nishapur like a pack of wolves closing in on their prey. Within the city walls, fear and uncertainty gripped the populace, their lives hanging in the balance. The Mongol assault was fierce and unyielding. Catapults hurled stones and fire, breaching the once impenetrable defenses. The air was thick with the acrid scent of destruction, as arrows rained down upon the beleaguered defenders. In the end, it was not merely the walls of Nishapur that crumbled, but the spirit of its people. The Mongols swept through the city with a brutal efficiency, sparing none in their path. The streets, once vibrant with the hum of daily life, now lay silent, echoing only with the whispers of the deceased. The fall of Nishapur was a testament to the devastating power of the Mongol war machine, a city reduced to ashes in the blink of an eye. It was a somber chapter in the annals of history, a reminder of the fragility of civilization in the face of overwhelming force. And, as the dust settled, the legacy of Nishapur lingered, a haunting specter of what once was, now consigned to the pages of time. Gurganj, the resplendent capital of the Khwarazmian Empire, stood as a jewel amid the barren expanse of the desert. Yet in 1221, its gleaming spires and bustling bazaars faced an inexorable doom, as the Mongol tide surged towards its gates. Gurganj held strategic and symbolic significance, a city whose capture would herald the complete subjugation of the Khwarazmian realm. The Mongols, understanding its importance, laid siege with a determination as unyielding as the march of time itself. The defenders of Gurganj fought with valor, their resistance a testament to the city's greatness. Yet the Mongol forces, relentless in their siege, left no avenue unpursued. Ingenious strategies and relentless assaults wore down the city's defenses, the mighty walls groaning under the strain of continuous bombardment. As the siege wore on, desperation gripped the inhabitants. The city teetered on the brink, its fate sealed by the relentless pressure of the Mongol onslaught. When Gurganj finally fell, it was not just a defeat of arms, but the collapse of a legacy, a profound loss felt not just by the Khwarazmians, but by all who cherished the splendor of its culture. The ruins of Gurganj stood as a testament to the destructive power of the Mongol conquest. A once vibrant city, now a desolate monument to ambition and war. And as the Mongol horde continued its advance, the echoes of Gurganj's fall reverberated across the land, a chilling reminder of the impermanence of power and glory. In the year 1227, beneath the tranquil expanse of Central Asia, the world witnessed the passing of a titan. Genghis Khan, the architect of one of history's greatest empires, met his end, leaving behind a legacy both feared and revered across the known world. The death of Genghis Khan signaled the end of an era, yet it also heralded the continuation of his ambitions through his progeny. The empire he forged, sprawling from the steppes of Mongolia to the fringes of Europe, remained a testament to his vision and prowess. Though his presence was no longer felt, the ripples of his conquests spread far and wide. His successors, well versed in the art of war and governance, carried forth his mantle, ensuring the Mongol Empire would endure and expand beyond his mortal tenure. Amidst this transition, the world paused, reflecting on the vast changes wrought by his hand. The lands he touched bore the scars and benefits of his reign, a complex tapestry woven with blood, innovation, and cultural exchange. As the sun set on the life of Genghis Khan, a new dawn began for the Mongol Empire. His death was not a conclusion, but a continuation, the pages of history turning to new chapters of conquest and legacy. And so, the story of the Mongols persisted, a testament to the enduring power of one man's vision. What led a nomadic warlord to cross great deserts and conquer ancient lands? Hulagu Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, embarked on a fateful journey in 1253, a campaign that would alter the course of the Middle East. With an army vast and relentless, he moved westward from the steppes of Central Asia, his ambitions as expansive as the sky. This was no mere incursion, but a meticulously planned advance, where Hulagu's forces were a tide sweeping toward the venerable capital of the Islamic world. The Mongol strategy was one of calculated ferocity, an engine of war powered by both speed and psychological terror. Under the banner of the Great Khan, Hulagu's campaign was to establish a buffer zone in Persia, clearing the path for greater Mongol influence. Yet it was more than that. It was a quest for dominance and submission of the heartlands of Islamic culture. With each mile conquered, the shadows of fear and uncertainty stretched across the lands of the Middle East. Along the way, emissaries were dispatched, extending offers of peace in exchange for submission. But as city after city fell, often with dreadful consequences, the enormity of the Mongol threat became ever more apparent. The fragile alliances and rivalries of the region were no match for the disciplined and relentless advance of Hulagu's legions. This campaign would not only lay the groundwork for the eventual fall of Baghdad, but resonate through the centuries, a testament to the relentless ambition of the Mongol Empire and the profound impact of their conquests. In the craggy landscapes of northern Persia stood the fortress of Alamut, a bastion of intrigue and mystery. Here the enigmatic Nizari Ismailis, known to the Western world as the Assassins, held sway over a network of mountain fortresses. This was a sanctuary of secrets and shadows, where loyalty was forged in blood oaths, and intelligence was the keenest weapon. By 1256, Hulagu Khan turned his attention to this enigmatic stronghold, viewing it as an impediment to his inexorable march. The Mongols laid siege to Alamut with their customary ferocity, employing siegecraft that had toppled cities across Asia. The assassins, however, were masters of survival, their reputation rooted in terror and stealth. Yet they stood before an army that did not falter, an army that knew only victory. As winter descended, the mountain winds howled through the siege lines, but the Mongols remained undeterred. Within those walls, the defenders faced the grim realization that their time was drawing to a close. The siege of Alamut was not merely a military engagement, but a clash of ideologies, a struggle between the mystique of the assassins and the raw power of the Mongol horde. When at last the defenses crumbled, Alamut fell, not with a dramatic final stand, but with a quiet submission. The assassins, once the shadowy masters of their mountainous realm, were scattered to history. Hulagu's victory marked a turning point in the Mongol campaign, a testament to their unyielding force and a prelude to the greater conquests that lay ahead. Baghdad, the crowning jewel of the Abbasid Caliphate, a city where the Tigris River cradled the epitome of Islamic culture and learning. Founded in the 8th century, this was no ordinary city. It was a beacon of light in a world that often seemed shrouded in darkness. Here, scholars from across the empire gathered, their works illuminating the pages of history with advances in science, philosophy, and art. With its grand mosques and bustling bazaars, Baghdad was a city where the air was thick with the scent of spices and the sound of scholarly debate. It was a place where cultures converged, where the wisdom of the Greeks met the innovation of the Arabs. The House of Wisdom stood as a testament to this golden age, a library and academy that attracted the finest minds of its time. Under the patronage of the caliphs, the city thrived as a center of commerce and intellect, its influence reaching far beyond the banks of the Tigris. Here, in these winding streets, the past met the present, a place where the layers of history were as tangible as the stones beneath one's feet. Yet beneath this veneer of prosperity, the whispers of change drifted through the air. As the Mongols loomed on the horizon, the grandeur of Baghdad stood as a poignant reminder of the fragility of civilization. For within its walls lay not only the achievements of humanity, but also the vulnerabilities that accompany such greatness. The stage was set for a moment of profound transformation, where history would pivot upon the fate of this illustrious city. In the year 1258, the doom of Baghdad unfolded with a relentless inevitability. The Mongols, led by Hulagu Khan, had arrived at the gates of the city, their presence a harbinger of destruction. What followed was a siege that would reverberate through history, an event that marked the end of the Abbasid Caliphate and a significant chapter in the annals of human conflict. For weeks, the city resisted, its defenders and citizens clinging to the hope that the walls might hold against the Mongol tide. But the defenses of Baghdad, although formidable, could not withstand the might and strategy of Hulagu's forces. The city's fall was as swift as it was devastating, the Mongols executing their conquest with a precision honed by years of relentless campaigning. As the invaders surged through the streets, a dark shadow fell over Baghdad. The grandeur of its libraries and the wisdom of its scholars were consumed by flames. The House of Wisdom, once a beacon of enlightenment, was reduced to ashes, its precious manuscripts lost to the ages. The city's renowned scholars were silenced, their contributions scattered to the winds. The sack of Baghdad was not merely a military victory, it was a cultural catastrophe. The loss was felt not only in the Islamic world but across the entire globe, for the city had been a repository of human knowledge and a testament to the heights of civilization. In the wake of its destruction, the rivers ran dark with ink and blood, a grim symbol of a world forever changed by the ambitions of an empire. The year was 1260, and the vast Mongol Empire, having swept across continents, now faced an unexpected challenge in the land of Egypt. Here, at the valley of Ain Jalut, the forces of the Mongol horde clashed with the determined resistance of the Mamluk Sultanate. It was a confrontation that would decide the fate of the region and alter the trajectory of Mongol expansion. The Mamluks, seasoned warriors and former enslaved soldiers who had risen to power, knew the stakes were high. Under the command of Sultan Qutuz and the brilliant General Baybars, the Mamluks prepared to confront the seemingly invincible tide of Mongol conquest with resolve and cunning. On the plains of Ain Jalut, the two armies met in a battle that would echo through the annals of time. It was a clash not only of arms but of will, where disciplined ranks faced the fearsome charge of the Mongol cavalry. The Mamluks employed tactics that were both innovative and bold, using their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage, exploiting the overconfidence of their foes. As the dust settled on the battlefield, it was the Mamluks who stood victorious. The Mongol advance, once thought unstoppable, had been turned back. The Battle of Ain Jalut was a turning point, marking the first major defeat of the Mongol Empire and a testament to the resilience of those who dared to defy its might. In the broader tapestry of history, it signified that even the greatest of empires could be challenged, altering the balance of power in a world poised on the brink of change. As the dust settled over the scarred lands of Persia, one could scarcely recognize the world that had existed before the Mongols' tempestuous descent. The air, thick with the echoes of a cataclysm, begged the question, how does a civilization rebuild in the shadow of such profound destruction? The Mongol invasions, unmatched in their ferocity and scale, left a tapestry of ruin that would weave itself into the very fabric of Persian society. Cities once vibrant with the hum of intellectual pursuits now lay silent, their libraries and schools reduced to ash and memory. The demographic upheaval was staggering, with countless lives extinguished or displaced, leaving behind a landscape peopled by ghostly reminders of former vibrancy. Yet amidst the somber tableau of loss, a resilient spirit flickered. The fabric of society, though torn, began to stitch itself anew, driven by an indomitable will to endure. The Persian people, heirs to a rich cultural legacy, faced the challenge of redefining their identity in a world reshaped by Mongol hands. It was a world where survival demanded adaptation and innovation, where the remnants of shattered communities knitted themselves into new social and economic patterns. The scars of invasion became the canvas for a new narrative, one that bore the weight of history yet aspired to transcend it. In this aftermath, the essence of Persian resilience shone as a beacon of hope, a testimony to the enduring strength of a civilization that refused to vanish into the annals of history. In an era marked by conquest and devastation, the meeting of Mongol and Persian worlds birthed an unexpected cultural renaissance, a new synthesis that would reverberate through history. The confluence of these two mighty cultures, though born from violence, created a fertile ground for innovation and exchange. Like the gentle merging of two rivers, Mongol pragmatism intertwined with Persian artistry, creating a confluence rich in intellectual and cultural dynamism. The court of the Ilkhanate became a crucible where ideas flowed freely, drawing scholars and artisans from east and west. As Mongol rulers embraced the Persian courtly traditions, a new cultural lexicon emerged, one that celebrated the rich tapestry of Persian literary and artistic achievements. The Persian language flourished under Mongol patronage, with poetry and scholarship reaching new heights, while Persian architects and artisans imprinted their artistry on the grandiose structures of the new regime. The fusion extended beyond the arts, as culinary and sartorial practices melded into a unique cultural identity. This new era, born from the ashes of conflict, embodied a spirit of resilience and adaptation. It demonstrated that even amidst the harshest of trials, creativity finds its voice, and cultures, when brought together, can forge a legacy greater than the sum of their parts. The legacy of the Mongol invasions, thus, became one of rebirth, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity to create beauty from the echoes of destruction. The Mongol military machine, vast and relentless, was a marvel of strategic ingenuity and disciplined execution. It swept across the steppes and beyond, with a precision that left empires trembling in its wake. At the heart of their success lay strategies and tactics honed by centuries of nomadic warfare, perfectly adapted to the vast expanses of Central Asia. The Mongol army, a symphony of mounted archers and cavalry, moved with unparalleled speed and coordination. Their tactics were fluid, adaptive, designed to confound and outmaneuver, striking fear into even the most fortified of cities. The Mongols excelled in the art of psychological warfare, employing deception and terror to sap the will of their adversaries. Their feigned retreats, a hallmark of their strategy, lured enemies into traps of their own making. Yet it was not merely their martial prowess that ensured their dominance. The Mongols' keen understanding of logistics and supply lines enabled their forces to sustain campaigns across vast distances, unburdened by the constraints that hampered their adversaries. This mastery of strategy and mobility, when combined with a ruthless efficiency, rendered the Mongol military an unstoppable force. It was a machine that rolled inexorably forward, reshaping the map of the medieval world. As we delve into the intricacies of their warfare, it becomes clear that the Mongols were not only conquerors, but also master tacticians, their legacy a testament to the art of war executed on a grand, devastating scale. In the wake of the Mongol invasions, the land bore mute witness to the profound human cost, a tapestry of lives lost and destinies forever altered. The sheer scale of the devastation was scarcely comprehensible, akin to a deluge that swept away entire communities, leaving behind only echoes of what once was. Cities that had stood for centuries, resplendent with culture and commerce, lay in ruins, their inhabitants scattered like leaves before a storm. The toll on human life was staggering, with millions perishing in the wake of the Mongol advance. Survivors faced a world irrevocably changed, where the bonds of family and community had been violently severed. As the Mongols imposed their rule, vast populations found themselves uprooted, displaced from ancestral lands to serve new masters. Yet, amidst this tableau of loss, stories of resilience emerged. The displaced, though cast adrift from their moorings, began to forge new paths in unfamiliar lands, their spirits unbroken. The indomitable human capacity to adapt and endure shone through in these darkest of times. Communities slowly reformed, drawing strength from shared hardships, finding solace in the cultural traditions that had withstood the tempest. As we reflect on this human cost, we bear witness to the enduring strength of the human spirit, a testament to the unwavering resilience that carries us through even the most profound of upheavals. In the tapestry of the Mongol invasions, religion played a pivotal role, its institutions and practices subjected to the crucible of conflict. The Mongols, pragmatic in their approach to conquest, exercised a complex relationship with the religious landscapes they encountered. Initially seen as destroyers, their campaigns left a trail of desecrated religious sites, sacred spaces reduced to rubble, as symbols of defiance were systematically dismantled. Yet, their relationship with faith was not solely one of destruction. The Mongols, astute in their governance, recognized the power of religion as a tool for maintaining control over the diverse peoples they ruled. In time, they adopted a policy of religious tolerance, allowing for the rebuilding and adaptation of many places of worship. This pragmatism facilitated a remarkable religious synthesis, where the spiritual traditions of Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, and indigenous beliefs coexisted and influenced one another within the vast Mongol Empire. As religious institutions adapted to new realities, they became conduits for cultural exchange and preservation, helping to weave a complex tapestry of faith and identity. The impact of the Mongol invasions on religion, therefore, was not merely one of destruction, but of transformation, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of human belief systems in the face of adversity. It stands as a reminder of the enduring power of faith to transcend the tumult of history, finding new expressions even amidst the ruins of the past. In the shadow of the relentless Mongol horde, one man stood defiant, a beacon of resistance amid the gathering storm. Jalal ad-Din Mingburnu, the last sultan of the Khwarazmian Empire, faced an enemy vast and unforgiving. His story is one of valor against insurmountable odds, a final stand etched into the annals of history. As the Mongols swept across the lands with a fury unmatched, the young sultan refused to yield, rallying his forces against the tide of destruction. Yet beneath the weight of numbers and the force of destiny, his courage would find its ultimate test. It was on the fields near the Indus River, where the clash of steel echoed and the cries of warriors filled the air. Jalal ad-Din, undeterred by the looming specter of defeat, fought with the heart of a lion. His strategies, born of desperation and brilliance, momentarily stalled the Mongol advance, a fleeting glimpse of hope for his beleaguered realm. But as the sun set on that fateful day, the tide of battle turned, and the Sultan found himself at the precipice of despair. Besieged and outflanked, Jalal ad-Din faced the inevitable, yet his spirit remained unbroken. With a decision as audacious as the life he led, he leapt into the swirling waters of the Indus, choosing the uncertainty of exile over the certainty of capture. Thus ended the resistance of a sultan whose defiance would echo through the ages, a testament to the human spirit's unyielding resolve, even in the face of annihilation. The Mongol conquest, as merciless as it was vast, did not merely lay waste to lands, it sought to govern them. In the wake of chaos, a meticulous order took root. The Mongol administrative system emerged, a complex weave of authority respected and feared across the newly subjugated territories. The genius of Mongol governance lay not in the imposition of foreign rule, but in the seamless integration of local customs and practices, a shrewd strategy that lent stability to their burgeoning empire. Genghis Khan and his successors understood that the art of conquest was not complete without the art of administration. The Yasa, a codified set of laws, ensured order and unity within the realm. Yet the Mongols were pragmatic conquerors. They enlisted local officials and scholars, weaving them into the fabric of administration, thereby ensuring continuity and cooperation. This confluence of cultures and administrative practices heralded a new era in the regions under Mongol control. In the fusion of nomadic efficiency with sedentary sophistication, created a governance model both unique and effective. Genghis Khan and his successors understood that the art of conquest was not complete without the art of administration. The governance system emerged, a complex weave of authority respected and feared across the newly subjugated territories. The Yasa, a codified set of laws, ensured order and unity within the realm. Yet the Mongols were pragmatic conquerors. They enlisted local officials and scholars, weaving them into the fabric of administration, thereby ensuring continuity and cooperation in a land weary of conflict. This confluence of cultures and administrative practices heralded a new era in the regions under Mongol control. The fusion of nomadic efficiency with sedentary sophistication created a governance model both unique and effective. Thus, in the quiet corridors of power, the legacy of Mongol rule was crafted, a testament to the delicate balance between conquest and cooperation. The Mongol invasions swept across Iran with a force that reshaped the land's economic landscape as it razed cities to the ground. Amidst the ruin and ash, the economic fabric of a once thriving civilization lay tattered. As cities burned, so too did the intricate web of trade that had flourished for centuries. The Mongols, in their relentless pursuit of domination, inadvertently altered the very essence of commerce and livelihood. Trade routes, once bustling with caravans and merchants, found themselves redirected or obscured entirely. The Silk Road, a lifeline of commerce and culture, bore witness to a transformation as profound as it was tumultuous. Yet, amid the upheaval and uncertainty, a new economic order began to stir. The Mongols, recognizing the power of trade as a tool of governance, sought to revive and control these vital arteries of commerce. Through the rebuilding of roads and the protection of merchants, they fostered an environment where trade could once again flourish, albeit under their watchful eye. Thus, from the ashes of destruction, a new economic dynamic emerged, one that would eventually lead to an era of prosperity and exchange that bridged east and west. The Silk Road, a conduit that transcended time and terrain, served as the lifeblood of empires and the pathway of conquest. For the Mongols, it was both a route of trade and an avenue of domination. This ancient network of pathways which spanned continents facilitated the movement not only of goods and ideas, but also of armies that would reshape the course of history. As the Mongols advanced into Iran, the Silk Road offered a strategic advantage, a thread weaving through the lands they sought to claim. It was along these routes that the Mongol cavalry thundered, carrying with them the banners of conquest and the promise of transformation. Yet the Silk Road was more than just a military highway. It was the pulse of a burgeoning empire. The Mongols, astutely aware of its significance, safeguarded these routes, ensuring their stability and accessibility. Through their protection, the Silk Road endured, becoming a bridge that connected the disparate corners of the Mongol Empire. In this fusion of trade and conquest, the Silk Road stood as a testament to the enduring legacy of a path that shaped the destinies of those who traversed it. In the wake of destruction and despair left by the Mongol invasions, a remarkable transformation began to unfold. The Mongol legacy, born in fire and forged in conquest, gradually gave way to an era of renewal and rebirth. The lands of Iran, once ravaged by swords and scorched by war, began to bloom once more, nurtured by the resilience of its people and the strategic foresight of its conquerors. From the remnants of ruins rose a cultural renaissance, a melding of traditions and innovations that breathed new life into the region. The Mongols, once harbingers of doom, became patrons of an empire that thrived on diversity and exchange. Under their rule, cities were rebuilt, trade routes restored, and a vibrant cultural dialogue ensued. The seeds sown by the Mongol Empire, though rooted in conquest, blossomed into a legacy that bridged east and west. This legacy, a testament to both destruction and rebirth, would endure long after the Mongol Empire itself had faded into the annals of history. It stands as a reminder that from the ashes of war can rise the promise of a new dawn, a testament to the enduring spirit of human civilization. In the echoing corridors of time, where history meets humanity, the Mongol invasion of Iran whispers tales of unparalleled devastation and survival. What horrors etch themselves into the hearts of those who lived through such a maelstrom? It is within the intimate voices of the past that we find our answers. A merchant, once prosperous and proud, found himself adrift as the invincible Mongol tide swept over his homeland. His once thriving bazaar, a hub of silk and spices, lay in ruin, and with it, his dreams crumbled like the ancient masonry of his city's walls. I have seen the sun set over a kingdom of ashes, his diary laments, each word soaked in soot and sorrow. Meanwhile, far from the clamor of the cities, a shepherdess watched the horizon with eyes of silent resilience. Her flocks, diminished by the ravages of war, grazed upon fields that once flourished under peaceful skies. The grass grows anew, she would whisper, a mantra of hope beneath the shadow of despair. In the courts of power, nobles penned letters to distant kin, each stroke of the quill an attempt to preserve a lineage amidst chaos. "We are but reeds in a storm," they wrote, their ink mingling with tears of apprehension and defiance. Through these personal accounts, the vast tapestry of the Mongol invasion unfolds not as a mere chronicle of conquest and bloodshed, but as a poignant symphony of human endurance, where whispers of the past echo with timeless resilience, urging us to listen, to understand, and to remember. Amidst the backdrop of conquest and calamity, a new dawn broke over Persian art and architecture, shimmering with the hues of Mongol influence. As the dust of war settled, the cultural landscape of Iran found itself at the crossroads of innovation and tradition. The great Ilkhanate rulers, heirs to Genghis Khan's legacy, fostered an environment where artistic expression could flourish anew, drawing from both the Persian and Mongol worlds. In the heart of Tabriz, the royal capital, artisans wove intricate patterns into fabrics and carpets, their designs now enriched with motifs reminiscent of the steppes. This fusion of styles gave birth to a unique visual language, where lotus blossoms mingled with traditional Persian florals, creating a harmony that spoke of beauty transcending borders. Architecture, too, bore witness to this cultural metamorphosis. The grand mosques and palaces of the era, with their soaring arches and illuminated minarets, bore the hallmark of Mongol grandeur, yet retained the soul of Persian craftsmanship. The influence of the Chinese pagoda could be seen in the domes that crown these edifices, a testament to the interconnectedness of empires. Even the art of the book, with its exquisite miniatures, thrived as Mongol Khans patronized scholars and artists, leading to a renaissance in Persian literature and illustration. This intermingling of ideas and aesthetics was not merely a byproduct of conquest, but a deliberate act of synthesis, a hopeful testament to the enduring power of cultural exchange, and a reminder that even amid the tumult of war, beauty can emerge, unbidden and unrestrained. In the annals of military history, the Mongols are revered not only for their fearsome prowess, but for the revolutionary tactics and innovations they bequeathed to the art of war. The very mention of their name conjures images of swift riders and thundering hooves, yet beneath this ferocity lay a sophisticated understanding of strategy and technology. The Mongol army, a formidable force, was a symphony of precision and adaptability. At its core, the horse, both companion and weapon, allowed unparalleled mobility across the vastness of Asia. Mounted archers with their composite bows unleashed volleys of arrows with deadly accuracy, a technique honed through years of practice on the endless steppes. Yet it was their organizational acumen that truly set them apart. Under the leadership of commanders like Subutai, the Mongols mastered the art of reconnaissance and psychological warfare, employing spies and scouts to gather intelligence long before the first arrow was loosed. Perhaps most remarkable was their ability to incorporate the technologies of conquered peoples. From the Chinese, they adopted gunpowder and siegecraft, deploying catapults and trebuchets to devastating effect during sieges. Structures that once stood impregnable fell under the relentless assault of Mongol ingenuity. This blend of tradition and innovation left an indelible mark upon the world, reshaping the tactics of warfare for generations. The Mongol legacy, a paradox of destruction and progress, served as a catalyst for change, reminding us that in the crucible of conflict, the seeds of transformation are often sown. In the wake of conquest and chaos, a remarkable era unfolded across the Mongol Empire, an era historians have come to know as Pax Mongolica. This period of tranquility and stability stretched like a silken thread across the vast domains ruled by the successors of Genghis Khan. From the heart of the empire in Karakoram to the distant shores of the Mediterranean, the world experienced an unprecedented age of peace. Trade routes, once perilous and fragmented, became bustling arteries of commerce, as caravans laden with silk, spices, and precious gems traversed the fabled Silk Road. Under the watchful eyes of Mongol overseers, merchants traveled with a newfound sense of security, their journeys spanning continents, forging connections between East and West. It was a time of cultural exchange, where knowledge flowed as freely as goods, bridging civilizations. Scholars, artists, and artisans found patronage within Mongol courts, their works influencing the tapestry of cultures across the empire. This Pax Mongolica, while a product of conquest, was also a deliberate vision for unity and prosperity under Mongol rule. It demonstrated that even the mightiest of empires, born of war, could foster a peace that was both profound and enduring, leaving behind a legacy that transcended the battlefield, a legacy that still resonates through the corridors of history as a testament to the potential for harmony amidst diversity. In the vast expanse of the Mongol Empire, where cultures intertwined and languages mingled, the Persian tongue found itself at a crossroads. The Mongol incursion, while a force of upheaval, also served as a catalyst for evolution in Persian language and literature. Under the patronage of the Mongol courts, Persian flourished as a lingua franca, uniting diverse peoples under a common dialect of diplomacy and administration. The esteemed poets and scholars who graced these courts nurtured a literary renaissance, where the classic Persian style met the vibrant influences of the Mongol elite. This era saw the creation of masterpieces like the Shahnameh and the Diwan of Hafiz, where tales of heroism and romance resonated with timeless beauty. The Mongol influence introduced new themes and metaphors, as epic tales of nomadic life and the vast steppes found their place beside traditional Persian motifs of gardens and nightingales. Mongol rulers, keen to consolidate their empire, encouraged the transcription of histories and epics, ensuring that the Persian language became a vessel for preserving the legacy of both conqueror and conquered. This period of linguistic and literary fusion was more than mere survival. It was a testament to the resilience and adaptability of Persian culture. In the embrace of Mongol rule, Persian language and literature not only endured but thrived, emerging from the crucible of history with a richness that continues to captivate the imagination, a hopeful beacon of cultural synthesis and enduring legacy. Imagine a world where the sun never set on one empire, where the thunderous hooves of a nomadic horde shook the earth from the steppes to the sands. The Mongol Empire, a vast tapestry woven with the threads of countless nations, spanned from the desolate reaches of Siberia to the warm shores of the Persian Gulf. In its epic sweep, it became a crucible of cultures, challenging the very essence of civilization as it was known. This was the age when the great Khan's emissaries cast shadows over kingdoms, altering the fate of empires with a single decree. The Mongols, once mere whispers on the edges of the world, fashioned a realm that defied the limits of human ambition. Their empire was a living testament to the boundless audacity of a people united under the banner of conquest. From the bustling markets of Baghdad to the serene temples of the Far East, the Mongol influence was both a harbinger of destruction and an unlikely harbinger of peace. In the heart of Iran, the Mongols left an indelible mark, their presence a profound echo of both cultural integration and devastation. The Silk Road, that ancient artery of trade and communication, flourished under Mongol vigilance, connecting distant lands like never before. Yet this path was also one of bloodshed, as the Mongol tide swept through, leaving no stone unturned in its quest for dominance. How did an empire born in the humble yurts of Mongolia stretch its tendrils so far and wide? It was a testament to the strategic genius of its leaders and the unyielding spirit of its warriors. As we journey through the remnants of this colossal empire, we uncover the complex legacy of an expansion that forever altered the course of history, leaving an imprint that resonates to this day. In the aftermath of the Mongol tempest, Iran emerged altered, yet resilient. Its lands a mosaic of successor states that would shape Persian history for generations to come. The Ilkhanate, one such entity, rose amid the ashes, a beacon of new beginnings in a land scarred by war. It was a time when the seeds of Persian revival were sown, nurtured by rulers who sought to reconcile their Mongol heritage with the rich tapestry of Iranian culture. Under the Ilkhanate, Iran witnessed an era of cultural renaissance, marked by an unprecedented flourishing of the arts and sciences. The cities of Tabriz and Margay became centers of intellectual pursuit, where scholars and poets reimagined the Persian identity through a lens of Mongol influence. It was in these vibrant enclaves that the delicate balance between past and present was struck, forging a new path forward for a nation rekindling its spirit. The weaving of Mongol and Persian traditions gave rise to architectural wonders, from grand palaces to tranquil gardens, each structure a testament to a unique fusion of styles. This period of renewal was not without its challenges, as the delicate fabric of these emergent states faced the ever-present threat of internal strife and external pressures. Yet it was here, in the heart of a transformed Iran, that the Mongol legacy found new meaning. The successor states became custodians of an enduring cultural heritage, preserving the essence of Persia while adapting to the currents of a changing world. As the sun rose once more over this storied land, a hopeful narrative unfolded, one that continues to inspire the generations that followed. As the Mongol Empire reached the zenith of its power, the seeds of its decline were quietly taking root. The vastness that once served as a source of strength became its greatest vulnerability. In Iran, the waning influence of the Mongols unfolded with a gentle inevitability, as the empire's expanse grew too large to govern with the iron grip of its founders. The very diversity that once enriched the empire now fueled its fragmentation. Local leaders previously subjugated under Mongol rule sought to reclaim their autonomy, sculpting new identities from the remnants of a fading hegemony. Iran became a tapestry of competing powers as the centralized control of the Mongol Khans gave way to regional aspirations and alliances. This transformation was not an abrupt collapse, but rather a gradual ebbing, marked by moments of quiet transition. The once mighty Mongol armies, stretched thin across continents, found themselves ensnared by the very distances they had once so triumphantly traversed. As resources dwindled, so too did the cohesion of the empire, leaving behind a landscape ripe for change. In the serene unfolding of these events, Iran found itself at a crossroads, where the echoes of Mongol dominance faded into the soft murmur of a new era. Here the decline of Mongol power became a chapter in the broader story of human resilience, underscoring the transient nature of conquest and the enduring spirit of those who rise from its shadow. In the reflective quiet of modern scholarship, the Mongol invasions are revisited with a renewed lens, offering insights into a period that shaped the world in profound ways. Historians and scholars delve into this era, seeking to unravel the complexities of the Mongol legacy, a testament to both human ambition and the chaos of war. The Mongol invasions, once perceived solely through the prism of destruction, now reveal a duality, a catalyst of both devastation and dynamism. The upheaval they wrought in Iran and beyond fostered an exchange of ideas and technology, laying the groundwork for future interactions and cultural syntheses. Today, as we navigate the corridors of history, the Mongol era invites us to consider the resilience of human societies. It prompts us to question the narratives of power and the enduring impact of empires that rise and fall. In these reflections, the past becomes not a distant memory, but a living dialogue, an exploration of the forces that continue to shape our world. Thus, the Mongol invasions stand not merely as a tale of conquest, but as a profound inquiry into the nature of human coexistence. As we ponder the echoes of that tumultuous time, we find ourselves poised to glean wisdom from the annals of history, drawing connections that span centuries and civilizations. As our journey through the annals of the Mongol invasions draws to a close, we find ourselves reflecting on the enduring lessons this era imparts. The Mongol conquests, once the crucible of fear and awe, now offer a testament to the resilience and adaptability that define human history. The saga of the Mongols unfolds as a narrative rich with complexities, a tale of conquest that birthed new avenues of cultural and intellectual exchange. It is a reminder of the transient nature of power, the inevitable ebb and flow that sculpts the destinies of nations. In the wake of their passage, the lands they once dominated rose anew, forging identities that would endure long after the Mongol tide had receded. In pondering these events, we are left with a profound understanding of the interconnectedness of past and present. The Mongol invasions, with their sweeping legacy, serve as a poignant reminder of the enduring spirit of humanity, a call to reflect on the delicate balance between conflict and cooperation. As we close this chapter, we are invited to carry forward the lessons of the past, to embrace the complexities of history as a guide for navigating the challenges of our contemporary world. In this, the Mongol story becomes not just a recounting of history, but a source of wisdom for the future, a beacon of hope that illuminates the path ahead.